This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com, and I have a Skype interview today with Amber Nova, who is obviously stunning, great style, and she has wrestled for Impact Wrestling. She's done stuff for NXT. She's wrestled all over the world, which we're going to get into. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very good. Thanks for the introduction.
And not only that, but you have a very nice smile, very white
Thank
teeth.
you. Thank
Now, do
you.
you drink coffee to keep your teeth so white? Yeah, you
Yes,
do.
I do. I actually, so I have had coffee this morning. National Beer Day was yesterday, so I had a beer or two of my favorite, and I just brushed my teeth. Oh, baking soda. Brush your teeth with baking soda. That helps.
Okay. Yeah, it's noticeable for sure.
Oh,
I,
good. I
I
always feel like they're never white enough.
oh, they're white. I did hear an interview with The Rock once, who has also very white teeth, and he said he doesn't drink coffee at all, and that was his secret to it. So
Okay,
interesting about the baking soda.
just the baking soda. Yeah.
So you're a former EMT. How are you coping with all this? I heard you on actually the Wrestling Observer radio recently, and you said you have asthma and you've had some other health problems. So you're one of the people that really has to watch out because it's a lung virus, I guess.
Yes, thank you. So I was on the Wrestling Observer just this past week with Brian Alvarez, which was really nice to be on there. And they gave me some shout outs on their Twitter. You guys can check that out. Yeah, so I am a former EMT. I was an EMT in Beaufort, South Carolina, right off of like Hilton Head Island area. Paris Island, actually, same town that Lacey Evans is from with the Marine base. Former EMT, non-Marine. And yeah, I was born with asthma, and I've actually had pneumonia so many times I've lost count. I'm gonna go around anywhere between 10 to 12 times my whole life. I was, hospitalized for pneumonia. My dad would be, carrying me in his arms when I was like a little girl, like 10 years old, into the ER in the middle of the night because I was running a fever, couldn't breathe. My lungs, just I couldn't breathe with my asthma and stuff. So this respiratory infection, yeah, the virus that's going around, COVID-19, is pretty serious. And I'm not wearing masks or gloves. I'm just washing my hands and just being smart because, like I was as a former EMT, so I just know that keep your distance. No one breathes on you. You're not exposing yourself. You'll be fine. You don't have to over exaggerate. I mean, some people with pre-medical conditions, they're wearing masks out in public. They don't want to risk breathing around certain people, and that's understandable. Um, but it's not necessary for everyone. And yeah, I am a former EMT, which I left that career behind to pursue professional wrestling and modeling, which was always a dream of mine. But I loved being an EMT, and it was an incredible experience just helping people. Uh, the things you see, the things you smell. It's an experience. Um, my brother-in-law, married to my older sister, is a fireman and EMT back home, and they're getting hit hard. They're getting calls. I don't know, so many calls a day with people with symptoms, and he recently got sick, really bad with like bronchitis, but it wasn't COVID-19. But he has to be careful not to bring it home to my niece and nephews. He has 3 little kids at home. So being a fireman and EMT, they're out there. They got to be careful. When they go home after working these 48-hour, long hour shifts, that they don't get sick and then bring it to them. But he did get sick, but luckily it wasn't the virus. So he's been doing well, getting overtime, working hard. And yeah, so thanks for acknowledging that.
What is the worst injury you had to deal with as an EMT?
I've ran some calls. An unexpected one once with my partner. We were actually just about to get off shift, and it was raining on the highway, and we drove past a motorcycle accident. It had just happened. Um, the man was on the ground, laying next to his motorcycle. We, do what we did, and we strapped him up and took him to the hospital. And I've run calls like that. Obviously, in the rain makes things a little bit more difficult. But we had backup. Fire trucks, other people, they show up, they help, the first responders and people. So I've transported a lot of quadriplegic, paralyzed patients my parents' age, younger than me, my age, and it's just tragic accidents or health conditions, stroke, so many things, you know. So then I go and do this crazy thing called pro wrestling that I could literally break my neck at any time. But I'm pretty safe in the ring, and I protect my opponent as well. But I know the risks out there, so it's crazy. But I enjoy it so much, and luckily I'm blessed and physically capable to do it. But yeah, let's see some crazy things. You know, when I first became an EMT, my partner, older fireman, told me, he was like, you know, it's not the things you see on the job, it's the things you smell. I am really like, oh, okay, I guess I believe you. We'll see. And it definitely is the things you smell. Like, you know, transporting some patients, like maybe paralyzed patients, they have what's called decubitus ulcers on their body from laying on their sides too long. And it's a wound, could be like the size of a baseball, like in their skin, just a big hole of rotting flesh. So I think rotting flesh is the worst smell I've smelt, and you kind of don't forget what that smells like. But I know I didn't really care. I didn't get grossed out. I mean, I'm very, like you can tell, like very girly girl. I'm very tomboy too, though. I like to dress up and I like to kick ass, and I guess I don't get grossed out too much. I just wanted to help people, and I did. And it's just crazy right now. All my buddies back home that are still EMTs or firemen, what they're going through with this COVID-19 going around. So it's pretty crazy. You know, I don't know. It's 2020 and we're in quarantine.
Yeah, and I've heard that actually like about 36,000 people have died so far related to this, not necessarily just because of that, and like 230 have died from the flu. So it's like an interesting situation we're in where they're taking it so seriously, I guess because it's so contagious.
I'm in Orlando, out here in Florida. The grocery stores are still open. Essential things. Some people with essential work jobs, they're still working, going to work every day. But I'm not going out more than I need to. If I need to go to the grocery store, I'll make a run. But I really don't go out more than I need to. I work out at home, and just, you know, I'm just doing my part to contribute as much as I can. So yeah.
What are your home workouts looking like these days?
So I used to do hot yoga a lot. So I always stretch first thing to start in the morning. Very first thing I usually do is I stretch. It's not hot yoga anymore unless I just go outside and do it, but it's not quite the same. But yeah, so a little bit of yoga, some stretching, squats. I have some weights, you know, 15-pound weights, things like that. I can do a lot with those resistant bands. So you can do bis, you can do tris, you know, just lift it above your head. Lots of just arm workouts, squats, abs. It's a cute little like joke that I always had ever since I started wrestling. When I joined my wrestling school, is Amber abs is what they would call it. This fireman I worked with back home taught me this really great ab workout, and I used to use like the ab wheel, but didn't really do much. I also did volleyball when I was younger, so I worked out on my abs quite often. But he taught me this ab workout, and when I was an EMT, I would do 400 crunches of these type of ab. They were like leg raises, really. I would do those 400 a day, almost 4 or 5 days a week, until I got to the point where, you know, I had to start slow, which I do recommend people start slow. You do set of 25, you do set of 50. Maybe you can knock out 100 in 30 minutes or whatever, how long it takes you, just at your own pace. And then you build up. They're just leg raises. You sit on the edge of a bench or a bed, and you just do as many leg raises as one leg, two legs, and just really leg raises. You can even hang from, like, if you have a pull-up bar in your house, and then lift your legs up like that. So those are the workouts that I've really been doing, and I enjoy it.
So if you're on the edge of a bench, for example, are you like bending your knees in towards your chest, or are you like keeping them straight and going straight up?
So it's easier. It is easy to do it off the ground too. So you just want to lay, like, you can kind of see me in my seat probably.
Yeah.
You just want to like lean back, like if you were on the ground. Just keep your legs elevated about 6 inches off the ground, and if you can bring one leg in, hold the other one straight. One leg in, hold the other one straight, and then do both, and then you'll be leaned back a little bit further. But now I'm kind of getting out of camera shot. But yeah, if you just lay on the ground, keep your legs elevated about just 6 inches to where they're level with your abdominals, and keep your abdominals really tight. and just the bunch of leg raises. I'm telling you, you don't even need like fancy machines, just your own body. And I mean, and people that don't really do them, they know it hurts. Just doing that leg raise and just holding like another yoga pose is called low boat. And low boat is pretty much the leg raise. You hold your legs about 6 inches off the ground. You just hold them there, laying on the ground. And a lot of people can't do it, so you have to keep that really tight, and then you just do the leg raise crunches. But that's the best way to get abs, if you ask me. Just your own will. And yeah, you may only do like 5. Then eventually you'll be able to do 10. Then you'll be able to do more. It really works. You just have to be consistent with it. I would say start one day, do as many as you can. You do a set of 15, do a set of 20, do the leg raises, do the crunches. Maybe you can only do 50, and then you're tired, you're done. Then the next day, if you're not too sore, because you do need to let your muscles, heal in between days. That's how they grow. Do like 3 times a week if you can. Do 4 times a week. Do once a week. If it's too sore, give yourself enough time, a day or 2 when you're not sore anymore, go right back at it. But consistency is what you need. And then as many reps as you can build up. Like I said, I did 400 a day for 3-4 days a week, but I built. So I think I get asked a lot about like the abs and stuff, like what do I do? And it's like nothing that crazy. It's not. Then again, everyone's body type is different. You have to remember, my metabolism's fast, or I can eat carbs and it not really affect me. I grew up on spaghetti 7 days a week, but I still eat really healthy. And sometimes it's just harder for other people where their bodies may not process it, so they have to work twice as hard. So that means you might have to do, more leg raises, couple more times a week. But consistency, train. I think the whole world is really inspired right now by everyone's at-home workouts, and I'm loving it. So I hope everyone keeps doing them.
Yes, well, for those of us that lift heavy weights, it's kind of hard to keep it up at home, but I've been trying to do stuff like you're doing myself. But I will try those.
I mean, I'll be honest, I think there's a lot of wrestlers out there that are not in the best of shape, male and female. Like, you're a professional athlete. I feel like a lot of people should be working a little harder on their body when you're an athlete. So there are some, but what gets over is maybe more of their just personality. So it's and their move set, and they don't have to be. It just shows a better example as being an athlete to look a little bit more in shape for some people. But yeah, like you said, right now a lot of people, they may not have weights at home, so they have to improvise. But even if you don't have weights at home and you have to lift those weights, you can really use your own body to do handstand push-ups, just anything to just keep your body active, even if you don't have that heavy weight. Or you can make things up at home.
You talk about handstand push-ups like they're so easy.
They're not. I can't do that many. I can do like a couple.
Now, for your diet, do you order food and do they bring it as meals or do you cook your own food?
I cook all the time. I meal prep. I cook my own food. I have gotten like a meal prep service before, like a little trial thing. Um, I prefer to cook all my food fresh. I only eat turkey, chicken, and fish. It's the leanest type of protein. I quit eating red meat many years ago, and I don't miss it because I never really liked it anyways, and I always would feel kind of bad about eating like mammals. So just turkey, chicken, and fish, leanest, greatest type of protein you can get. Red meat, it's not always that good to have. I don't eat pork or ham. It's none of that kind of fat stuff. I eat a lot of vegetables, fruits, and lots of carbs. But I love carbs. I love bread. I love pasta. It doesn't affect me. Some people it might, and they have to cut that out of their diet. I don't really diet per se. I don't have a strict, like, have to do this today. I have to eat this today. I eat when I feel like eating. I'll eat a protein shake when I work out. So I love chocolate protein powder. It's my go-to, glutamine, just to keep myself hydrated, healthy. Amino acids. So I'll drink the pre-workout, post-lift workout from Nutrex that I'm sponsored by. I'm one of their brand ambassadors. And good products. I just eat healthy. And that's really all it is. Nobody needs to put that pressure on themselves. Like, so many people when they diet and work out put this pressure on themselves that I have to lose this much weight, or I have to eat this today, or I have to do that. And it's like, no, just be consistent, be healthy, be smart every day, get a little workout in, and then just eat well.
Now, when you went to become a professional wrestler, what was the process you went through, and were you a wrestling fan prior to that?
Yes. So, same way I got into, classic cars, I got into professional wrestling. My dad, growing up watching wrestling with my dad, growing up with classic cars. My dad's a mechanic, has been his whole life. American muscle cars. He worked on ambulances, fire trucks. He actually worked on the Marine base, the air station in Beaufort, South Carolina, and worked on heavy machinery for the air station for a contracted company out there. So not in the military, but my dad was a mechanic on the military Marine base on the air station, and yeah, he got me into wrestling. He got me into classic cars, and I watched wrestling since I was a kid, and I always, how you have these dreams, and you're like, oh man, I wish I could do that, but I could never do something like that, right? That's what a lot of people think in life. And then finally did my research, and I see these young women coming up in the business like Paige and Sasha, and I'm like, you know what? They're kind of my size. They're also like my age. Let me look into this. No, I'm not the second or third generation wrestler. I don't have like any history as far as that. I came just from scratch, did it all on my own, daughter of a mechanic, but just had the drive to do something with her life, that wanted to do it. So I looked into it, researched, okay, pro wrestling. Where's the heart of pro wrestling? It's Florida, Orlando, WWPC, NXT does their tapings here. Impact Wrestling, that I've been a part of and done many tapings with them, right there in Universal. They're no longer there, but they were. So there was, a lot of opportunity, and that's why I moved to the Florida scene to do it.
So you ended up training, I guess, at Team Vision Dojo, the same place where Selena, who we just talked to the other day, trained. How was the training for you at Team Vision?
It's been good. It's been more than good. It's been excellent. It's got me pretty far very quickly. Within my first year of training, I was already doing extra work for NXT. I was already doing, live TV matches with Impact Wrestling just a year, 2 years later. I've learned from so many great people that have come to the Team Vision Dojo. So many big names have come there, taught seminars, helped us. Selena was actually a good few of my very first few matches. Like, we were both started around the same time. I started, I think, just a little bit before her. Yeah, I had my matches just a little before her, and then we started having plenty of matches together. This was 4 years ago. So yeah, she did get injured, unfortunately, but some things happen in life for a reason. She's done really well with managing.
Yeah, and I've seen that you two have done some photo shoots together as well.
Yes, we have. Forio Photography. You guys can look him up. Me and her have done a few bikini, sleepwear, pillow fight, fun, like, adorable photo shoots. And you can actually buy the behind the scene videos or photos from us from those photo shoots from fans that are interested. Because we don't post, absolutely everything. But yeah, just fun photo shoots. So yeah, we did a bikini one that's both on our Instagram pages.
Yes, those are some pretty good pictures for sure. When I was searching your name, they popped up. You guys definitely are both incredible models. You mentioned some of the stars that stopped by the Team Vision Dojo. I saw, I think, on your Twitter or something that Scott Hall stopped by once when you were there.
Oh yeah, Scott is a great mentor of mine. He's helped me out a good bit, and I've learned from so many people. Scott, he's come by quite a few times. He's been involved. Good friend of the dojos for a while. A few other people, they've come by. Larry Zabisco, he's stopped by and done a few seminars. Soraya Knight, Hector Guerrero. He's wonderful. He's watched my matches. Helped me critique my moveset, just like psychology. Hector's really great on that. So great on that. A lot of people. Evilise, I've been learning from her a lot the past couple of years. She's been one of our female trainers there. Josh Woods, who's in Ring of Honor, former WWE NXT superstar. The list goes on. Marty Jannetty, Kevin Sullivan. I feel
How
like
was Marty
I'm
Jannetty?
probably forgetting people. There's been so many awesome people that have come to the dojo, and they know it's a good place to train. They know it's one of the the best wrestling school in Florida that's outside of the WWE.
I really enjoyed my interview with Marty Jannetty last year. How was he at the dojo? Because he's such like a crazy, fun-loving guy. I can't see him staying focused enough to actually train.
He was very yeah, very calm, relaxed. It was a very chill environment. Like, hey, let's all work together. It wasn't like, some trainers are a lot more precise and strict with their skill and their teaching, and that's good too. Like, and I could name a few that are really excellent trainers, and they're serious. When you step in that ring, um, it's serious. So it's not just playtime. But yeah, like yeah, Marty was great. I enjoyed learning from him. Very nice man. Um, and let's see, Lindsay Dorado has been one of my trainers for a few years before he got picked up by WWE. Very, very, very talented, Lindsay. Man, there's so many others that I've learned from, so it's been pretty great.
That dojo, I believe, has some type of affiliation with Major League Wrestling, right?
Um, I know that we rented the ring when MLW was just starting up again in Florida at Gilt Nightclub, which I even bartended at Gilt Nightclub, which was one of the venues a couple years ago. So I have a bartending certification too, former EMT, pro wrestler. I've done a couple of things. Woman of all trades. But yeah, so Team Vision Dojo did rent the ring, and me and a few other students were actually ring crew. I helped set up the ring for MLW and did ring crew and some behind the scenes stuff. That was a couple years ago, and I think they've moved around a bit since then. But yeah.
Which show was it that David Penzer saw you wrestle on?
Oh man, I got a bad memory sometimes.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think he's seen me on a few shows. It could have been Impact. Honestly, I think it might have been Impact Wrestling. He might have been there. Um, and that was a year ago at WrestleCon. Probably today or this week it was, or just a couple days ago. We were at WrestleCon with Dave, and you interviewed me with him.
I uploaded so many interviews that week. I think nearly 100 interviews. I actually forgot about your interview until you like did a tweet retweeted all of your WrestleCon memories from last year.
I mean, it's been on YouTube. I copied the link and shared
Yeah,
the YouTube link for people to watch the interview from last year. And I just posted some like flashback photos and like, hey, this was the interview. You can go to YouTube and check it out.
I remember when David Penzer saw me that day and gave me like the camera card because I was up in my hotel room editing. He told me this girl's going to be a star. He said, make sure you upload her video. I've seen her wrestle. This girl has a lot of potential. So David Penzer, obviously he's a former WCW ring announcer, Impact. He's seen a lot of matches. So for him to basically put you over so much, I found that was pretty interesting because you're the only person that he's ever said that to me of anyone that he's interviewed for me. So
You're making me blush.
yeah.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. I've worked really hard. And I've done a lot since then, since I saw you and Dave at WrestleCon last year. Um, I've been to 3 different countries, starting to travel the world more. I did all that since WrestleCon last year. I've been to London, South Africa, and Panama. That was all
Wow.
last year. And I was actually supposed to be in Panama um, for GWE company out there last month and this month. And unfortunately, it's been postponed further and further back with COVID-19 going around. So, but yeah, I'll be back world traveling. Hopefully, Panama's my next on list. South Africa possibly again this summer with we'll see how things go. With just obviously the world right now. Everyone's safety is the most important thing. But yeah, I really appreciate that. Dave is awesome. And I remember, I think he watched some of my early on matches with Impact and stuff. So I really appreciate that. He is the greatest.
How were the crowds in Panama?
Oh my gosh, amazing. Panama's crowd was one of my favorite crowds I've ever wrestled in front of. At the end of the match, I got a huge "Thank you, Amber" chant, which was my first ever that, and I mean it was just really emotional. Like took me over. I was like, wow, this is incredible. These people are incredible, and they are behind me, and it felt great.
I've seen this radio interview that you did where they wanted you to kind of cut a heel promo, but you seem to have a little bit of a problem being a heel. Are you usually a baby face?
Um, Actually, I am whatever I need to be in the ring. When I'm depends on my opponent. I'm gonna be honest with you. How my behavior is in the ring, it depends on my opponent's behavior with me. And I mean, if I have to pull out a few tools out of my box to win, I've done that before. Um, so I know you're talking about Real Radio 1041. It's the Monsters in the Morning with Russ Rollins. He's a former wrestler. He wrestled back in TNA with Mark Marrow. You guys can check that out. Russ Rollins, Mark Marrow, TNA. But yeah, Monsters in the Morning. Yeah, they always want me to cut mean promos. It's like, I can do it if I have, good reason. Give me a good reason. Who do I need to tune up? I think I have cut some pretty good heel promos. I've cut some for Impact Wrestling when I wrestled Allie the first time and lost. I was very angry about that. And yeah, I don't know. It depends on my opponent, depends on my mood, depends on, what tools I got to bring out to win, that kind of thing. I've done before. I definitely can cut mean promos. I have before. I guess I enjoy being a superhero a little bit more though.
The promos I like that I saw on your YouTube channel, I think I saw three of them. I don't know if there's more than three. Is the ones that you've done, they're like almost like music videos of you in your
Um,
cars. I really like your outfits in those, but like you look like one of those 80s models that would be like in a White Snake video or something in those. Are those
that
you that,
is that's exactly what I'm going for.
oh, really?
That's pretty much what I'm going for. Yeah, I mean my 73 Chevy Nova, I have tire marks and wrenches on my wrestling gear,
That's your
and like I
boyfriend's car,
said,
though, right?
huh?
That's really your boyfriend's car, though, right?
Okay, you want a mean promo right now? You're about to get one. No, oh, it's so
I'm
aggravating.
just
People are like,
kidding.
oh yeah, is that your car? Is it your boyfriend's car? No, it's my car, and I changed the oil, and my nail polish matches my car half the time. But no, my dad's a mechanic. He taught me how to change my own oil. He taught me how to work on American muscle cars, and that's what I do. And my Nova is me. That's why I'm Amber Nova. I used to drive around, and this is my second Nova. I had an older Nova back home when I was, 18. And I was driving around this Nova back home, and people would be like, oh, you're the girl that drives the Nova. You're the Nova girl. And that's how it all started with my wrestling identity. I'm like, yeah, I am the Nova girl. I'm Amber Nova. And that's why I got tire marks and wrenches on my gear. And sometimes I bring a wrench to the actual ring. I've done that a few times. But no, it is not my boyfriend's car. And nothing makes me more pissed off than having to hear that all the time. I get
I
all the
was
time
just
at
trying to
gas
get you
stations.
fired up.
See that? Oh.
Oh, I know. I heard you actually say that in that radio station interview that you did. So I thought that was pretty funny, and I could see how people would think that's a good pickup line or whatever to see if you actually have a boyfriend. So I can
Maybe. I
imagine how
mean,
frustrating that might be.
okay, I see where you're going with that one, maybe, but more so be like, okay, you want a heel promo, you're about to get one. People say that to me. So
Yeah, I understand. So if someone wants to ask you out if they see you driving around, that's not a line that you're going to go for.
no, not at all. It's very insulting. Maybe just start off with, wow, really appreciate the classic car. Don't see those many around. How'd you get it? It's yours? Cool. Maybe don't immediately go, is it your boyfriend's?
I'm not even that into cars, but I watched a bunch of videos about you and your car to try and prepare for this, and I saw you were actually on a classic car TV show too. So you've really gotten over with your car here.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not a second or third generation wrestler. I was not handed a platform, training facility. Bless the girls that were. That's awesome. That's the life they were born into. Not me. I was handed a wrench, and I've worked for everything I've ever had. And yeah, my Nova means a lot to me. My dad and me built it up, and Yeah, I mean, so a lot of what I do is with my car. I just want girls, especially want to inspire women, especially like younger women. I was an EMT. I'm now a professional wrestler. I mean, yeah, I drive a really badass classic car. Yeah, I can change my own oil on my own. And so can they. They can do whatever they want to do. And I just want to empower women and young girls. Because, what if I kept saying to myself, no, and I didn't believe in myself to go do this, I wouldn't be where I am now. So I would have traveled the world and wrestled with so many wonderful people. So I want people to believe in themselves. And, just with a little elbow grease, you can do it. So the show that you're referencing is called Combustion Chamber with Casey Porter. You guys should go check that out. Combustion Chamber. We have a YouTube video. It talks about a lot of great things with me in my car.
Do you get nervous when other people drive your car? Because I noticed there's a portion of that video where he's driving the car and you're in the passenger seat.
Um, I haven't let many people drive the car before. So I don't get nervous. I only let people drive the car that are actually like knowledgeable enough that I'm like, okay, they know what they're doing. They can handle this. They know about classic cars. They can handle driving. It's not gonna anything happen. So not many people have drove it.
I saw in one of those videos, you're like doing like loops, I guess, on the grass in that car. Were you nervous about
Oh,
damaging it?
so I have a few. Yeah. One of my earlier videos it was like a dark maroon colored. Um,
Yes.
yeah, that's my first Nova before I got the orange one. Q the Rebel. He is an incredible artist. You guys got to check him out. Kieran Witherspoon, Q the Rebel. Go check out his videos. He's made some of my first ones, especially like one of my very first training videos at the wrestling school. Phenomenal, kick ass. He's working with huge, really big artists right now, really famous people, big names. You guys would love his work. So check out Q the Rebel. He did that video where I'm doing donuts in the grass, and I actually messed up my brakes doing that a little bit and had to fix them. Whatever, it was worth it.
How fast have you ever driven a vehicle, whether it's your first Nova or your current one?
Mm, I don't know. I don't want to talk about my illegal speeding.
Well, this channel's based in Canada, so you don't need to worry too much. Have you've
Yeah,
gone it
I
over
definitely.
100 miles an hour, I assume, at
Oh
least.
yeah, over 120. For sure, at least. I like to open up the car, so I open up the four barrels. I like to break it loose when I can on the highway, so it's nice.
Do you find that driving a vehicle like that, you're a bit of a target for the speed traps and so forth? Because I notice actually in Florida, the times I've been, there's a lot of speed traps, like compared to here in Canada. They seem to really be out to get people for going over the limits there.
I think the laws are a lot similar but different in the U.S. and Canada. Yeah, people want to, police want to obviously have people maintain the speed limit. I don't speed that often. Like I'm not that crazy. I do have a need for speed. I am, Amber Nova, but I don't speed that often. I'm pretty responsible where I speed.
Now, what other classic cars would you be interested in buying if, let's say, you become WWE Women's Champion one day and you can afford a collection like John Cena has?
Oh yeah, I know. Cena's got a bunch of cars. Let's check that out. So I'm a big fan of this show, Supernatural, and I did like a remake of Dean Winchester, played by Jensen Ackles. I had the Tiger video where he's like playing the air guitar on
Yes.
the foot of his
I
car.
liked that one. I saw that one. That one was my favorite, actually.
I've always wanted to do that, so I did that with my Orange Nova, and you guys can go to my Instagram or YouTube and check it out. It's Amber the Nova, I the Tiger, I think, and
You look amazing in that one too, by the way. I think you look the most
uh,
beautiful in that one of all the three videos.
thanks. I really appreciate that. I had a lot of fun. Diva Insider. You guys should check him out on YouTube. He's a great guy. He films a lot of women's wrestling. Diva Insider. He did that video for me, Eye of the Tiger, remake of the Supernatural thing. But like I said, big fan of Supernatural, and how I even got started watching Supernatural. I was just browsing through Netflix. This was years ago, and I saw a 67 Chevy Impala. I'm like, that is a sweet ass car. And then I saw these two hot guys next to it. And I was like, I'm hooked. What are we watching? And that's how that happened. So yeah, I like classic cars. I like Chevelles, the 67 Chevy Impala. I love I love my classics. I really like the new Dodge Challengers because they really kept that like classic muscle style to the car, but made it modern. So, yeah, those would name a few.
That's pretty cool. And I heard that how you upgraded to your current car was actually you were on Undercover Boss, but they never actually used your clip. But you want to tell us that whole story of first how you got on the show, and I guess Stephanie McMahon was the undercover boss on it.
Yes, so I was on Stephanie McMahon's Celebrity Undercover Boss. I was the first person she filmed with. However, my segment from the episode was cut from air and it didn't make air. Probably because I ended up knowing it was her. I have met her before. Like I said, I've been working backstage, extra work with WWE behind the scenes a bit. And I have met her before, and she's such an inspiration, that woman. And at first, it was just me and Eva Elise training in the dojo. And she comes in, blonde hair, glasses, wig, and she's watching us train. And then we just sit down chatting for a bit, and the lights were off. Then when the lights come on, we go over to change the oil in my car. And it's me, her, and my dad. And then my dad takes off. It's just me and her. And embarrassing enough, the bolt to my oil pan underneath the car was really tight, and sometimes I do have a hard time getting it off on my own if it's too tight. And I usually have my feet up against my garage wall, so I'll be on my back barefoot with my feet against the garage wall, breaking the bolt loose, and it was too tight, and I was just struggling a little. I'm telling you what, she took those nice arms and she just broke it loose like it was nothing. I was like, cool, nice. And we drained the oil, we come back out from underneath the car, and then it hit me. Like, it didn't take long, but I'm talking to her, and then it hits me, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm talking to Stephanie McMahon. Why are you in a wig? Like, and I realized so I realized immediately it was her. We take a break. Well, the whole thing too, by the way, is the television show contacted my wrestling school and was like, hey, we're looking for some people in wrestling that have some inspiring stories to tell. And my trainer and my dojo told them, well, there's this girl, former EMT, moved down from South Carolina all by herself, left everything, came here to be a professional wrestler. And they're like, okay, we're interested. They interviewed me on my birthday, actually. It was November 2nd, 2017. And then we filmed that month, and then the show didn't come out for like a good year later. But after I realized it was Steph, I go outside to the producer, and I'm like, hey, is that Stephanie McMahon? Because it feels like you guys are like undercover bossing me right now, but you're not, because she's not my boss. So I literally said, I thought you're undercover bossing me, but she's not my boss, so this is not that. And I said to them, like, who is that? Stephanie McMahon? Be honest with me. And he's like, who's that? And he acted like he didn't know who she was. And I was like, don't play dumb. I'm like, okay. So they knew I knew it was her. And then we got to sit down and talk at the Performance Center, because if you watch her episode, I'm only in the end credits standing with the other wrestlers, like Jake Atlas. His episode aired. His segment on the episode aired, Jake Atlas, and now he just got recently contracted with NXT.
Yeah.
So
I
congrats to
just
Jake.
interviewed him actually on
Oh,
one of his
cool.
last independent events in LA.
Cool. Yeah. Well, congrats to Jake. Me and him were both on there. Only I had some tough competition, so my segment did not make air. Probably also because I knew it was her, and I didn't play along as well because, like, oh my bad. Next time I know. But we're at the Performance Center doing the big reveal, and I'm looking, and I'm just like, nobody realizes it's her yet. Like the family, the kids, everybody. I'm like, literally a Big Show. She's in the ring with Big Show. She's this journalist. And then nobody caught on that it was her, and I was like, come on, when's it gonna light bulb? But maybe they did a really good job of hiding her. She said after I was the first person that she interviewed, she had to put prosthetics on her face, like her nose, and cover everything up, and so that was fun. But yeah, you only see me in the end credits. But it doesn't mean that it may never see the light of day, they told me. So maybe we'll see this footage one day of me and her in my car. It's pretty cool. And Yeah, so that's how I got my second souped up 73 Nova. Beautiful orange paint job, everything I always wanted. Got rid of the old Nova, and yeah.
How did you get your NXT matches? Was that through your wrestling school, or had you contacted WWE yourself?
I applied on their recruit page, put information about myself, and they responded. They sent me an email. So, if you work hard, you look good. Um, like, that's what I meant about being in shape, look like an athlete, all that kind of stuff. You can apply on their recruit page and you might get booked and see what you get. And I've wrestled, my first match for NXT was Nikki Cross, and that's on the WWE Network, as well as my second match was just last January 2019. I tag teamed with Tanea Brooks, known as Rebel, against Io Shirai and Kairi Sane, and that was a lot of fun.
So that's where you had met Stephanie McMahon previously. She works on the NXT shows backstage, I guess.
I did see her there when I was doing extra work last summer, and she recognized me and remembered me, and it was just so heartwarming. It was like, oh, this busy woman, and she actually remembered me and stopped and said hello. It felt so good. So I just can't wait to work together again one day.
Now, I did a few WWE matches like you, extra work, and every step of the match was completely choreographed by the agent involved. Was yours similar, or did you have some freedom in the match?
That's what I love about wrestling now, especially with NXT's developmental. They're really giving freedom to these talented individuals. I mean, these competitors in the ring have style, they have character. I have style, I have character, and I really like they're giving people a chance to show that. What do you want to be? What can you do? And then they'll give you a yes or no, and maybe they'll, you see, like, sometimes, hey, we'll let you try this out, we'll let you do this, and then maybe the boss man goes, no, we don't like that. Depends. I mean, just like any job, you have a boss that you have to answer to.
Now, I understand, unfortunately, WrestleCon was canceled this year. We were going to be there again, too. You had a table with Matt Morgan, I guess.
Yeah,
What's your
I know
connection with
Matt
Matt
pretty
Morgan?
well. Yep. So this year would have been at WrestleCon in Tampa. Bummer that everything was canceled. I was really hoping it would just get postponed till the summer. But I would have been at WrestleCon sharing a table alongside Matt Morgan, who I've trained with at my dojo. There's another name. And we've done a few local wrestling shows together. Me and Matt have been on Channel 6, Channel 13. I've been on Fox 35 Orlando promoting wrestling, and a lot of just local stuff that I've done with Matt. And we were actually scheduled to have a show WrestleMania weekend. It was supposed to be like this weekend that just came by. And it was going to be in Sanford, Central Florida area. And me and Matt were putting on another show with some good wrestlers, and we were going to have some other news stations out there just supporting the local independent wrestling scene. And that all got canceled, unfortunately, as well.
Is he still the mayor of a town in Florida, or has his term been up?
Yeah, he is the mayor of Longwood.
Okay. I didn't realize he was still wrestling. He's a busy
Not
man.
not frequently that I know of.
Okay. And you mentioned you were over in the UK wrestling. What company was that for?
British Empire Wrestling.
How was
Ty
that
Valkyrie, I
experience?
believe, was just there, unless it got. I think that was the one I recently saw. I don't know if that was canceled or that already happened, but a lot of big names have worked for BEW, and you guys can go look them up on YouTube as well. British Empire Wrestling.
What was that experience like? Was the style different at all than the US, or did you have a US style match?
I wrestled Lexa Vallow, a pretty newer girl in the business at the time last year, from Germany. And I was like, this is really cool. I'm getting to wrestle other women that have the same passion for me from other countries in the world. And it was like a sisterhood. It was great. It was fun. The crowd was funny, very funny. They do these chants and they chant and they sing out loud, and the crowd was really great. So like Panama, that crowd was great. London was great. South Africa. Panama was the loudest, I think. But yeah, London was great too.
Was the South Africa show the same show that Wes Briscoe was on there?
Yeah, and Michael Tarver. We
Okay.
all went together. It was nice having those bodyguards with me.
Yeah, Wes, he's been held two championships in our company up here in Canada. So our fans know him pretty well. Do you have any stories about him?
Let's see. I mean, I've learned from Wes. He's another person that's been to the dojo and helped teach all of us students. I don't know if I have many stories, but he's a good dude. He's with a really great girl, Red Velvet. She is gorgeous, talented. You guys check her out. And yeah, me and Wes went to South Africa. We're supposed to be going back there again this year. I believe Red Velvet is going to possibly be my opponent, which I'm really looking forward to. Um, we'll see. Things have been changing, but yeah, as far as stories go, I just have good things to say. Was wrestling for a few shows down in Orlando when I first started, having just a few matches under my belt, and he was on a few of those shows with me, and he helped me out. So I really appreciate that.
And I understand, other than modeling, wrestling is your main source of income. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. That's really all I do. I do like fitness modeling, sponsorships, but really my main source of income lately, the past 2 years, has been professional wrestling. And so right now, I took a lot of losses with the bookings getting canceled and the shows and my country tours. So hopefully this doesn't, the faster, the more we all stay home, the faster we can all get through this, though.
So it's been a big hit to you financially because I guess you'd be out there almost every weekend making your wrestling pay plus merchandise sales, which fans don't understand, especially for a female. I've noticed from my own promotion, females actually sometimes make double their pay in sales for some reason.
Yeah, I honestly, I would have been meeting so many unique, artistic, wonderful fans of wrestling at WrestleCon. At the I Believe in Wrestling show with Matt Morgan, we would have had in here in Sanford, in Orlando area. That got canceled. A lot of things got canceled, so it's unfortunate. Like I honestly, I would be really bad off if I had it with my asthma. Luckily, my asthma has gotten a lot more controlled. Like when I'm in the wrestling ring, like I said, I do hot yoga. I've learned how to control my breathing very well. But even then, like in the ring, I do pretty well with my asthma. But when it comes to getting sick or pneumonia, I wheeze, and it's really hard when you're suffocating, can't breathe. It's scary. So I don't know how bad I'd be off with it, but what's important is just saving lives and staying home.
If fans wanted to buy some of your merch or buy a picture or something to support you, do you have a way of doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. I have t-shirts on prowrestlingtees.com/Amber Novas. All you have to search. And then I have posters, 8x10 photos. I have signature grease rags that I actually have made myself with tire marks. It's like black grease, red mechanic grease rags. They're really cool, and I think the kids love them. And then I even have some more. I'm out of them right now, but I have them coming. Signature Amber Nova, like trucker style airbrushed hats. So hats, grease rags, t-shirts, posters, photos. You guys can send me a DM, an email. Just go to my social media. It's AmberNova73 on Instagram and Twitter. And then you can get familiar with me if you're not. Go to YouTube, search Amber Nova.
Now, is there any female wrestlers that you try to pattern your style after and look up to?
Um, Growing up, I was a big fan of like Goldberg, Sting, very WCW days. Lita, Trish, AJ Lee. But I guess I've taken bits and pieces from a lot of people I've learned in the wrestling business. Like I'm a big fan of Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, very lucha style. AJ Lee, I do the flying octopus that was known as her move, the Black Widow. I love Stone Cold, so my signature move is Stunner, which I call the Nova Driver. And I just take little bits and pieces of people that I've learned from in the business, and I like that. I like this. I really love Low Key. I love learning from him. He is a kick-ass fighter. So I hope that when the dojo and everything reopens, he'll be back to the school to train as well. And I just take bits and pieces of what I like about people's attitudes or styles and just incorporate it into my own. So I wouldn't say it's just one person, but many.
Now, I know Loki has done some MMA training and mixes in that style a little bit to his wrestling style. Have you done any martial arts training or anything to kind of supplement your wrestling moves?
No, I have not, but a few of the trainers at the dojo, they are, black belts. They've done martial arts. So I've gotten to learn from many other different type of people. But no, like I said before this, I was an EMT. I didn't do any type of physical fighting. I was the one that was helping people that were hurt. But now I'm kicking ass.
So for your impact matches, I guess that's the same thing. You applied to them and then they got back to you and you got those matches that way.
Yeah, people were taking notice to me, and they said, "Hey, this girl's got something. Let's see what she's got." And I really appreciated that. And then Impact put me over in a very nice way. They said, "Hey, we keep bringing this girl back, obviously, because she can hang with these more experienced girls in the ring, and she's learning," and that was great.
I forget her name, but I watched the one match you had there. I guess she had like an Asian gimmick, crazy Asian style.
Too young.
Um, yes, yes, yes. I know
Yeah,
that was a very one-sided match, but how was that match for you?
unfortunately, these TV companies, they have commercial breaks, and a lot of whatever I did in the ring must have happened during the commercial breaks, and it was good. It was great. She's really talented, and she was one of the females I've wrestled in Impact, but I've also wrestled Bernie Lauren, known as Ava's Story. Story time. Let's see. I've wrestled a few people. I got to wrestle Taya Valkyrie. That was incredible. What an awesome girl. Like, I'd like to have a longer match with Taya Valkyrie. She's on my bucket list. I've wrestled a few people. Allie was my first, and Rosemary was another one. Been pretty great. I've got to learn from a lot of really nice women in the business. So
Yeah, Allie's wrestled for our company here in Canada before she blew up to, I guess she's a big star in AEW now.
yeah.
I know you probably would just want to be under contract to any of the companies, but out of all of them, is there one specific one that you'd be more interested in working for these days?
Um, yes, I would say WWE would be my top choice because it's something I watched since I was a kid. It's what got me started and got my passion started. But I'm not gonna say that that's the end all be all.
And we know that a bad pickup line for you would be, "Is this your boyfriend's car?" Um, what's some advice? You're a beautiful lady. Do you have any advice for men if they want to talk to a girl like you? Like, what would be a good pickup line?
I don't know pickup lines. I'm not very good at dating. Um, let's see. A
I
good
noticed
pickup.
you were talking about that type of stuff on the radio show, so that's the reason I bring it
Oh,
up.
they had me do a dating game. If you look up Monsters in the Morning, Amber Nova dating game, it was last Valentine's Day. It was a lot of fun. It was a fun little dating game show. It was really just for fun, just for people to listen and have a good time. I didn't think it wasn't too serious, and I didn't think that's how I'd meet like a serious relationship starter thing. But a good pickup line for me: tell me I have a nice car, so you appreciate classic cars. I guess that would be a good one. Just
I
don't be
find it
cocky.
intimidating that you actually have such a nice car and that you know like how to work on a car. As someone that doesn't know that, I'd be like, "Oh my god, I can't even talk to this girl." But I'm sure some guys feel like that because you said it well earlier. You're like a bit of a tomboy, but you also don't look like a tomboy. So it's an interesting mix.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up riding four wheelers and dirt bikes, shooting paintball guns, doing fun stuff that kids don't, I think, do that much nowadays because they have these cell phones and social media and computers in their hand. When I grew up, I didn't have that. So, I still was riding dirt bikes and outside in the woods. And I'm tomboyish. I love professional wrestling. But you know what? I've always been fascinated with just modeling as well, artistic, just beautiful. So I love doing that as well. And I actually had some really great photo shoots lined up coming up, but they also got postponed. So hopefully those will be coming soon. And thanks. I appreciate that.
Where did you grow up, by the way? I forgot to ask you that earlier.
So I was born in Hackettstown, New Jersey. My parents both born and raised in New Jersey their whole life, Parsippany area. I grew up there a couple years of my life, but I really grew up majority, like my whole life, 20 years about, was Beaufort, South Carolina. Hilton Head
Okay.
Island, South Carolina, that area.
So your parents aren't too far away.
No, luckily, it's just like about a 5-hour drive from Orlando. But I don't get to see them as often as I'd like because my 73 Nova is my only car. And I don't drive it that far because gas money would be ridiculous.
Well, if I'm ever back in Florida for another interview trip, hopefully maybe we could make a video of you taking us for a ride or something. That would be pretty cool. And
That would
maybe
be great.
when this is all over with, maybe one day you could come up and wrestle for us here in Canada. We have a great women's division. Lufisto is our champion right now. I'm not sure if you're
I
familiar
know.
with her.
Yep. I've never wrestled in Canada, and I would love that.
That's cool. Well, is there anything else you want to plug or anything you want to tell the fans here to close this interview off?
You guys, you've been on with Hannibal TV, Amber Nova, your classic car driving pro wrestler. So tune in for a tune-up. Go check out his YouTube channel, all his other interviews with really incredible wrestlers, talented people, and just stay safe, stay home, it's saving lives in this really trying time that we're all going through. But just believe in yourself. We're all going to get through this because we're all in this together.
And last thing I'll ask you, since they put you on the spot on the radio show for promos, could you close this off? Let's just say Charlotte Flair is the NXT champion now. I believe she just won the title at WrestleMania. If you had a shot at that title, could you give us like a promo on Charlotte to close this off? Which, by the way, WWE agents watch this channel. And you mentioned Austin. Steve Austin watches this channel for time to time. So they might see
Awesome.
this promo.
I gave him a shout out yesterday for his beer company for National Beer Day. Stone
He'll
Cold Steve
appreciate
Austin.
that.
And my finisher is a stunner. It's a wheelbarrow stunner, which I call the Nova Driver, and I got that from Stone Cold Steve Austin. Just modified the stunner a bit for my Nova Driver. So let's see. Miss WrestleMania. The new NXT Women's Champion. Well, I think NXT, the women's division, could use a tune-up. And Amber Nova can deliver. Because unlike you, Charlotte, I'm not a second or third generation wrestler. And no, I wasn't handed a platform. I was handed a wrench. And being the daughter of a mechanic, I've had to work really hard for everything I have. And I believe that if I had a match with you, I'd give you that tune-up.
On the independent scene, if you had to pick one to a WWE match, who would you like?
There's a girl named Amber Nova from, she actually from the same town as me, and she drives this really badass car, and she's a Southern girl, and she's just a hard worker, and I've seen a lot of her stuff.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.